going to go inside the belly of a sea turtle. And I handed out a sea turtle egg for everybody. We're going to play a little game with it afterwards. So does anybody know what it means to be an endangered species? Who knows what it means to be an endangered species? Yeah?
Like almost extinct?
Yeah, he said almost extinct. It means that there aren't many left, right? So we have 5 different species of sea turtles here all along the Outer Banks, and all of them are listed as endangered or a threatened species. They were put on that list about 30 years ago, and they still have not recovered to be pulled off of that list. And unfortunately, sea turtles, they are also what's known as a keystone species, which means that they are key to keeping our oceans in balance and our oceans healthy. So it's really important that we work really hard to get these species recovered enough that they can be taken off of the endangered species list. So today, we're going to go inside the belly of a sea turtle, and we're going to find out what these sea turtles eat, because what they eat can make them either really healthy or really sick, okay? So I'm going to need some volunteers to come up and pick inside our belly, and you're going to pick one thing out and then hold it up really high for all of us to see, okay? So who wants to be the volunteer? Yeah, come on up. Hold that up really high. Ooh. That looks really yummy, doesn't it? That's seaweed or seagrass. And this one represents our green sea turtle. And that's really convenient because those green sea turtles, they're kind of like our vegetarian sea turtles. They're herbivores. They only eat this green seagrass. And they're really, really key in keeping the oceans healthy because they mow down the seagrass beds on the ocean floor. So if it wasn't for the green sea turtles, the seagrass on the bottom would get really high and it would get really, really dark underneath, and then a green slime mold would start to grow on the bottom, which releases really bad nutrients into the ocean. So those green turtles, they eat that seaweed and they keep it nicely mowed down. Has anybody seen Finding Nemo? All right, so Crush, you remember Crush and Squirt? They were a Pacific green sea turtle. And right now we have 3 green sea turtle nests on the beach here at Cape Hatteras. Thank you very much. All right, another volunteer. All right, what does that look like? That's a sponge. And that is related to our Hawksbill Sea Turtle. This is the most rare sea turtle you will find here in the Outer Banks. And these guys are called spongivores because they have this hawk-like beak, and they go and pick apart pieces of the sponges that grow inside of the coral reef systems. So these help our coral reef systems grow because that coral grows really, really slow, and the sponges grow really fast in the middle of it. So if it wasn't for the Hawksbill sea turtles, our coral reef systems would get overgrown with sponges. So they're key to the coral reef systems. So the Hawksbill sea turtle. All right, thank you. I need another volunteer. Oh, that's a good one. She volunteered and now you're doing it. All right, lift that up really high. That is a blue crab. All right, and that represents our Kemp's Ridley sea turtle. This is the most rare sea turtle in the world. And right now we have 1 nest on Ocracoke Island, which is really exciting. And they're the smallest sea turtle in the world as well. They get to be about 80 to 100 pounds. And I have a Kemp's Ridley turtle shell with me today. Look, that's almost as big as you. So these guys are really good divers, and they swim out into the middle of the ocean. They can dive really, really deep. They have these long, narrow shells to make them really hydrodynamic in the water. And they provide a resting place for a lot of really small fishes and seabirds that never touch the ground. So when these guys are resting and basking in the sun and floating up on the surface, the seabirds that are miles offshore from any land will actually perch right on top of the Kemp's Ridley sea turtle shells and take a nice little rest and dry out their feathers. And then if you ever wondered what's inside of a sea turtle shell, their spine is kind of built right into the back of the sea turtle. You see that? All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And I need another volunteer. All right, lift that up really high. All right, that represents our Loggerhead Sea Turtle. And these guys can get about 300 to 400 pounds. And right now on Cape Hatteras National Seashore, we have 164 Loggerhead Sea Turtle nests. So they are our most common sea turtle. If you're lucky enough to see one here on the seashore, that's pretty much the type that you will find. And the loggerheads have really big skulls and really strong jaws. So this way, when they eat the meat that's inside of these whelk shells, they can kind of crunch down on the shell and suck up that meat inside. So these guys are omnivores, so they pretty much eat anything. They're not very picky eaters at all. And they stir up a lot of the nutrients on the bottom of the ocean floor. And their strong jaws can crush a lot of clams and mussels and then the whelk shells. So they're really important in keeping our oceans clean and healthy by disintegrating those shells a lot faster than it typically would take for all of the shells to disintegrate. So that's why they have such big, strong jaws. And when they float up to the surface of the water to breathe air, just like we do, their heads kind of bob along the water, and it almost looks like a floating log. So that's how the loggerhead gets their name. All right, thank you very much. So we talked about what sea turtles eat that makes them healthy, but sometimes what they eat can make them really sick. So, of course, somebody earlier, I think it was you, said that plastic can be really dangerous in the ocean. So we have a lot of things here. What do you think this would look like in the ocean?
Jellyfish.
Maybe a jellyfish, yeah. So our leatherback sea turtle, and that one I didn't talk about, that one is the largest one. And they pretty much only eat jellyfish in the ocean. They eat about 400 pounds of jellyfish per day. So when we have plastic bags kind of floating around in there, it almost, when these bags are in the water, it really makes it look like it's a food source for the leatherback sea turtles especially. So we have to be really careful about keeping trash out of the ocean and out where they splash. So we are going to say a little jingle together, and we're going to say it so loud that people on top of the balcony on the lighthouse can hear us. So I'm going to say it the first time, and then you guys join me 3 more times, and we'll say it all together, okay? Don't trash where they splash. 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 All right, good job. Give yourselves a round of applause. That was great. So it's really important. Scientists say that by the year of 2050, that's only in 30 years, that there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. So it really is our duty as humans to do the best we can by not getting plastic out into the ocean, okay? So now we're going to play the game with your sea turtle egg. And so when I call out the number that is on your ball, just come up here and go ahead and put your egg back into our nest. So the sea turtles, when they lay eggs, they lay about 100 eggs in each nest. And we're going to find out your fate as a sea turtle egg today, okay? So whoever has ball number 0, come on up and set it into. All right, ball number 0. A feral cat was hanging around on the beach, and they smelled something really yummy, and they dug up that nest and ate your eggs. So you did not make it. You were eaten by a cat. All right, who has ball number 1, egg number 1? All right, you guys hatched, you made it to the ocean, but a shark snatched you up and got you. So you were eaten by a shark. All right, who has ball number 2? You thought that plastic bag was a jellyfish, and you ate plastic, and it made you really sick, and you did not make it. You ate plastic. Who has ball number 3? All right, your egg hatched. You looked kind of like this when you were born, a little baby sea turtle, and you were crawling down to make it to the ocean, and a ghost crab snatched you up and got you. You were eaten by a ghost crab. Who has ball number 4? Egg number 4. All right, you guys got a little bit disoriented by light pollution. There was a big hotel that had a bunch of lights on it, and you thought that was the brightest horizon, so instead of following that moon reflecting off of the ocean, you got disoriented and you went to that hotel and you got snatched up by a predator. You never made it to the ocean. So always remember to keep those beach lights off on the beach and not to drive your vehicles after 9 or have campfires after 10 o'clock, all right? Who has egg number 5? There was a really big herring gull that was very hungry, and so you were eaten by a bird. A bird snatched you up and got you. All right, number 6, ball number 6. You were a little egg and you just never developed. You were an undeveloped egg. That happens sometimes. All right. Who has ball number 7? Egg number 7. You'll never believe what happened to you. You'll never believe it. Somebody was having a lot of fun on the beach, and they dug a really big hole to play in. And before they left for the beach, they forgot to fill their hole in. So your little sea turtle egg hatched, and they were trying to make it down to the ocean, and they fell in that hole, and they could not make it back out of the hole, so a predator snatched them up. So always make sure we fill our holes in at the beach, and we tear down our sand castles, anything that can be an obstacle for these guys to make it to the ocean, or for the mamas when they come up to nest. We always want to take down those obstacles. All right, number 8. Who has egg number 8? Oh my goodness. A dog got off its leash and it dug up the sea turtle nest and it ate your egg. So you never hatched. You got eaten by a dog. All right. Number 9. Who has ball number 9? And I'm sorry to tell you, you were eaten by a raccoon. A raccoon, those raccoons, they love those sea turtle eggs. All right, and who has ball number 10? One person. You survived and you made it to adulthood. Good job. Good job. All right, so 1 out of 100. That was our numbers in our nest. But that's not an accurate representation. Only one baby sea turtle makes it to adulthood out of 1,000. 1 out of 1,000. So they have so many obstacles, and let's try not to be one of those obstacles. So there's many things that we can do to help these sea turtles out. And we learned about all these things today. So when we go to the beach, let's try to be responsible and keep the beach clean, keep plastic out of the ocean, not trash where they splash, right? And fill in our holes at the beach, okay? Well, thank you guys. You were a great audience. Thank you.